Now, you're going to take us through. Let's go, Matty.
I'm gonna take the wheel here. This was a really big weekend in college baseball world.
Huge.
This was the first weekend of the real college baseball postseason, otherwise known as regionals.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
Specific to the Hudson Valley region, we have the Hudson Valley Renegades. For those that don't know, they are the high A affiliate of the New York Yankees. And for tickets, you got to call 845-838-0094 or visit hvrenegades.com. They play out of Wappingers Falls, New York, and we've got a special deal for you. If you buy one, get one lower box ticket the rest of the season with code JOMBOY. It's a fun team with a lot of guys that we could be seeing in pinstripes in a few years. Everson Pereira, Beck Way, Anthony Siegler, just to name a few. On top of that, new hats, new merch, new swag, only at the Renegades team store. And if you use that same code JOMBOY, they'll take 20% off of your purchase today, which is just good news all around here. So make sure to visit hvrenegades.com. Remember, buy one, get one lower box ticket the rest of the season with code JOMBOY. And at the same time, go buy the merch because they have a fun logo in there as well. Use that same code JOMBOY for 20% off of your purchase from their store. Now, let's jump back from those minors back to the college world. I first wanted to just explain to everybody how the college baseball postseason works.
And by everybody, you mean me, right?
Yeah, you're in the everybody.
Thank you.
Just because we all know how NCAA basketball works. You make a bracket, everybody fills out their bracket. I think that people are a little bit less in the loop with the baseball. So I just wanted to quickly jump in there first.
I'm taking notes, by the way, so okay, go.
Overarching everything, it's called the NCAA Division I Baseball Tournament. Now, you're also going to hear the phrase College World Series thrown around a lot. But that is specifically reserved, exactly, Omaha, College World Series. That's all reserved for the final 8. We start with 64 teams in the Division I baseball tournament. Once you make that Elite 8, the final 8 teams, that's when you take the trip to Omaha, neutral site. You're playing
only
in the
8 teams
College World
that make
Series.
it out of 64?
Exactly. So
go
ahead.
No, go.
So if you were going to ask, how do we get from 64 to 8? We start with regionals. That was this past weekend. That's where every team that won their conference championship, 31 conferences, they all automatically make it to regionals. Then there's a committee that decides the remaining 33 teams that fill out the 64. The other 33 best teams that didn't win their conference, all 64 then get invited to go to regionals.
Okay.
This was controversial this year because Tommy Tanks and NC State were not chosen as one of the 33, despite making the conference finals against UNC, who they ended up losing to. But that's regionals. You invite 64 teams, and the top 16 seeds host. They play as the home team for their group of 4. So it's 16 groups of 4, and you play bracket style double elimination. The remaining 1 team after all of that goes on to super regionals. So these 16 groups, you go from 64 to 16 in one shot. Those 16 teams now are competing in super regionals. Super regionals is a 1v1 matchup. So if I'm Tennessee and I won my
is it like a round of 3 or is it one game?
Yes, no, it's not one game.
Okay, good. So you got to win 2 of those, I guess.
Yeah. So they'll play this Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It looks like Monday is if necessary.
So they get a week off.
Yes, same as basketball.
So you get full rosters. That's great.
The winner of each of those matchups then advances to that final 8 College World Series. That is broken down into 2 double elimination brackets of 4. The winner of those 2 comes out in the College World Series finals, best of 3 finale.
Unreal.
Do you like the setup?
I really do.
Yeah.
It becomes just crunch time right now. Like every game has so much importance at this point.
For sure. So now I just wanted to speed run and catch everybody up to date. I get watching 64 teams compete in 16 double elimination brackets is a lot of stuff going on at one time. I was struggling just trying to keep up with it this weekend.
Give us a rundown, Matty. Make it easy for everybody.
Now we're going to the super regionals. That's just 16 teams. They're only playing 1 team apiece. So this is a lot easier to follow. I wanted to recap the regionals real quick. So now we can concentrate on what's going to happen next weekend. Number 1 overall seed is Tennessee. They obviously went 3-0 in their group of 4. However, they did come back in each of the final 2 games. They were down 4-0 in both. The last game, they scored 6 runs in the top of the 9th to take the lead and win, all starting with a Jordan Beck RBI double to tie it up. Now, if they lost that game, they would then play the same team again. So it didn't make that. It's not like it was win or go home, but
right.
They got the job done, finished it off. Now, when I say all these seeds, it's just in the 4 teams that they're playing. So Notre Dame was number 2 in their group of 4. But number 2, Notre Dame goes 3-0 in their regional. It was kind of funny. 2 hit by pitches put them ahead in their semifinal.
Ugh.
And then Texas Tech loaded the bases in the 8th and 9th inning in the final, and Notre Dame escaped each time. They were only up by 1 run with the bases loaded twice in the last 2 innings. So they kind of skipped along in a unique way, I guess, to say the least. Next one, number 1 seed Texas goes 3-0 in theirs. And I wanted to pause here because Ivan Melendez, nicknamed the Hispanic Titanic, is the absolute story of Texas's season, in my opinion. He's put together a historic run, and this weekend he capped that off with home run number 30 of the season. That's a milestone that nobody has touched since Chris Bryant in 2013 when he hit 31.
Wow. That is a mark that,
So right now, Ivan Melendez is the projected 115th overall pick, which puts him in like the third round, I think. Yeah. 3rd or 4th round. That seems so high for him.
It's got to change. Yeah, that has to change. What position does he play?
First base. Expect Ivan Melendez to move up, because if you're putting up Chris Bryant numbers, he's 22. I mean, this is somebody that we could see do like a Reed Detmers jump, where you get drafted and you just basically play a few games in the minors and jump up.
If he keeps swinging it like that, there's absolutely no chance he stays. Well, there's no way he's going to stay at that number.
I would be shocked. I mean,
is that not a preseason estimate, or that's current? That's where he's.
No, I think they updated at one point through the season, but it might be a little old. There are only 21 Division I NCAA players that have hit more home runs than him in a singular season.
Wow.
So expect him to jump up, because that's really nuts.
If he doesn't, we're sorry.
Yeah, we're sorry. But next up is number 1 seed ECU. They went 3-1, so they dropped. They made it to the final without losing. They dropped a game to Coastal Carolina, and then they beat them the following day in order to advance to their super regional. ECU has just one of the most electric environments. I'm not sure if you've seen any of their players do like the jungle jump and stuff, where they jump into the stands.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. Bryson Worrell, I had to give that guy a shout out because he's a monster. He hit 4 home runs this weekend, including in the final. He went 4 for 4 with a walk, triple, and home run. He's the guy that hit a home run lefty
got
and
pushed
righty.
By the umpire. Is he the guy that got pushed by the umpire after he hit the?
Possibly. It was an ECU player, But
Yeah.
he hit a home run lefty and righty in the same inning of game one. So that's pretty nuts too.
Good for him, man.
Moving quickly along here, Texas A&M, they went 3-0 in the College Station Regional. They were the number 1 seed. Nothing super intriguing there. Number 1 Louisville, Louisville went 3-1. So they had to play Michigan twice in order to knock them out. They actually played them 3 times overall. They played them and lost, so they went to the losers bracket. Then they won in the losers bracket, played Michigan again in the final, won, then played them again in the final, won.
Dang.
So they, Cameron Masterman, I tweeted a bunch of photos of his because he had the pimp job of the century. 8th inning go-ahead home run for Louisville. That was a lot of fun to see. Next up, number 2 Oklahoma actually upset number 1 Florida in Gainesville, which is, I believe, a tough place to play. So shout out to Oklahoma. Number 1 Virginia Tech, they went 3-0 in their regional. This is the first time they've advanced to super regionals in school history. So congrats to them.
That's awesome. I've seen some different names here. Like, who's the Wolves?
Yeah, no, there's this is a lot of the big schools don't make it, like an NC State, because all of the small conferences automatically get to send one of their teams in, whoever won the conference championship. So there's a lot of team names that you might not be super familiar with.
Yeah.
Binghamton, Long Island, Missouri State. These are teams that might not normally be in the national spotlight, but they get to make it, which is cool to see.
Great. Yeah.
All right, moving right along. Number 1 Stanford, they got put into the losers bracket in their regional, and then they made it out of that. They were losing 3-1 in the 9th inning of their final game, that being against Texas State, and they hit a walk-off. They scored 3 runs in the 9th, so good for Stanford.
I felt like there was a lot of that action going on throughout the whole weekend. I felt like Twitter was just alive with people talking about everybody's walk-offs and comebacks, and college baseball was hot on the weekend. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, big college baseball weekend. Brock Jones, he plays at Stanford. We had talked about him when we foreshadowed the college baseball season, and he's projected first rounder in this upcoming draft. So to see him get to move on is cool. This was a fun, controversial, interesting, whatever you want to call it. Number 3 seed UConn beat number 1 Maryland playing at home. So UConn beat Maryland to send them to the losers bracket. Maryland then reached the finals, and UConn took them 2 games, but they beat them again. Did you see this collision at first base?
I did, and the runner was called out, right?
Yes. So
how was that in the championship? Is that in the deciding game?
This is the deciding game. Maryland is down by, I think, 2 runs, and they start an 8th inning rally. And the inning and the rally end because the batter running to first collided with the first baseman, who we could say was in the base path.
Was standing on the base.
Standing on the base, yeah. And
giving the runner no running room or running lane to run through at all.
Yep.
And then there was a collision and the runner was called out. It makes no sense. But once again, for some reason, an umpire feels, how do they not come together if there's more than one umpire and go, you know what, that's a bit of a, hey, let's take it back, take a minute, let's look at what happened, and then we can make a decision. Even if you got it wrong, it's okay to say, guys, I'm sorry, we got it wrong. Now that we've looked at it, this is the decision that we're going to, but no, they don't do that.
No, that's one of the things Jimmy says a lot, that it's okay to be wrong. Like, we'd rather you get it right rather than just stick to the call because that's what I said first.
Yes. That's almost like this is the way we've always done it answer, right? Which is, I would rather punch someone in the mouth if I get that answer. Yeah.
So Maryland baseball fans cannot be too pleased this morning, to be honest with you, because seeing your team 8th inning rally, they scored a run on that play. I think they were within 1 and rallying. And all of a sudden, it was just stopped at a halt because runner was called out at first.
And that will kill any kind of momentum you have.
Oh, yeah. Next up, we have UNC. This is the team that won against NC State in the conference tournament. They were the number 1 seed in their group, and they escaped from the losers bracket. Another one. They outscored VCU 26-11 in the final 2 games.
Wow.
This is the next one, and I think the last one that I want to get your real opinion on.
Yeah.
Number 2 Arkansas defeated number 1 Oklahoma State in a heated Stillwater matchup regional. First of all, before anything else, there were a ton of runs scored in this part of the bracket. You have the first matchup between Arkansas and Oklahoma State, 20-12. Oklahoma State then goes on to face Missouri State in the losers bracket, 29-15. Arkansas then plays Oklahoma State in the final. Oklahoma State survives 14-10.
Do they just not have any pitching?
I don't know, but the final day was a 7-3, which is more of a normal baseball score, but still, I mean,
You'd think
really high scoring.
What was it like for these teams to get to this point? Like, did they have a couple of days off before the start of this 64 team? Right. So it wasn't like they were saving their ace for the last game or they were okay. So this is just an offensive bracket.
Two offensive. Yeah, 2 offenses. Now, this is why I brought it up, that I wanted to get your opinion. Did you see, I think his name is Rock Riggio?
No.
Did you see his 2 home run trots? So
I'll have a look right now, though.
So he, in their first game against Arkansas, OSU's Rock Riggio hit a home run.
Spell it for me.
ROCRIGGIO. Okay. He hit a home run when he was rounding first base. He did a little like, let's get loud, like, let me hear it.
Right.
And then rounding third base, he did if I said Jack Sparrow walk.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
He did that around third base, right?
Yeah.
Big celebration after hitting home, this and that. People, especially Arkansas fans, did not take this well. They did not like to see it. So the following day, he hit another home run and absolutely sprinted around the bases the whole way. He made it first to home in 15 seconds or something like that. What is your opinion? What do you prefer? First of all, do you like any kind of home run trot? Or
I just think it's hilarious. I've just watched your tweet.
Yeah.
Dude, first of all, the guy loses his glove on that, trying to rob the home run on the last one. Did you see that? The center fielder lost his glove. So that in itself is hilarious. But to do the Jack Sparrow, I've never seen that. Originality, 9 out of 10. Awesome. I think it was well executed as well. You could tell exactly what it was.
Mm-hmm.
But then the sprint afterwards was hilarious. But the fact that they lost, that kind of hurts.
Yeah. So now this morning, there's been a number of Arkansas fans on Twitter saying, who cares, this and that.
No, on Twitter. That's not like Twitter.
No, exactly. That's Rock Riggio.
I mean, what an electric series, though.
Yeah.
That's why people are obviously getting fired up about college baseball right now. That kind of emotion, you could see the crowd. There's been some loud stadiums that I've heard. And when the other day when they were doing the ball 5 thing and I saw that video floating around, I just, as a college kid, having to deal with that kind of pressure with the whole crowd is just ball 5. I don't know what I would do. I honestly don't know what I would do. I'd hope that I'd throw a strike, but man, that needs to be. We need a big league team to bring that in somewhere.
Yeah.
Someone that's got some really good pitching. Maybe the Yankees have got some decent pitching at the moment.
Some say.
Not to jinx it.
Yeah, please. But we have 4 more regional matchups.
Yes, you do.
Ole Miss advanced past Arizona in their final. Tim Elko hit 3 home runs in the final game, and they put up a 20 spot on Arizona to advance. So good for Ole Miss.
Yeah.
This next one, let's just be happy that Kelsey is not here. Number 1 seed Southern Miss knocked out number 2 seed LSU yesterday. After LSU had made it to the finals, not having lost, they got knocked out. Back-to-back losses to Southern Miss. Shout out Southern Miss. Sorry, Kelsey. Watching the video now, Southern Miss dogpiled each other on the field after advancing. Oof. Well, good for Southern Miss. Good for Southern Miss.
And we've got a positive coming the next one because Tim Hudson and the Auburn Tigers advance. Tim Hudson, pitching coach extraordinaire, apparently.
Look at the scores of the Auburn games. Are you on that?
No, I'm on
19-7 win, 21-7 win, 9-0 against UCLA to take the whole thing. Holy cow. They just pranced through. And then this last one is also intriguing because, man, do you have some names on the Vanderbilt lineup, but they got knocked out by Oregon State. They had beaten them once, 8-1 in the first game, and then they had to beat them again and couldn't do it. Oregon State advanced.
Man, like Vandy is the premium program in college baseball, would you say?
Yeah.
That's got to be frustrating. So. That's got to be frustrating.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. Enrique Bradfield had a crazy catch yesterday. I also saw him starting rallies. He stole third, I think, or second, and the ball got away and he advanced home. Enrique Bradfield did a lot for Vanderbilt in this last game. They continually tried to get back into the lead and it just didn't happen for him. But hey, shout out to Oregon State as well. And
well done, Matty.
That is college baseball. I hope that didn't ramble on for too long. I know that there's just a ton of games.
Guess what? Even if it did, you can edit it because you do that. So well done to you. Nice recap. Well done.
Thank you.
Now I have a better understanding of what happens in college baseball too. So I appreciate you for that.
Yeah, no. And now we're down to 16 teams, eight different matchups. So if you're
starting
looking
from Friday.
Yeah. If you're looking for a time to just tune into a little bit of college baseball, there's 16 teams left. There's 8 matchups that you have to follow. Hopefully that makes it a little more digestible. And then the weekend after that, we'll be into the College World Series. So that's a lot of fun.